If you're in a meeting with your boss, and your boss has done something you think is wrong, and you lose your cool, you get upset, you tell your boss you're going to sue him, you're going to take him to court, you're going to take him to whatever commission oversees them, with a whole bunch of people there watching you yell at him. Think you're going to be employed the next day? I'm Wyatt Cox. And apparently the City of Ely allows that. But that's not a big surprise. You see, for months, we've been telling you how hard the Good Old Boy Network has its iron fist controlling Ely and White Pine County. Now, far be it from me to be the total judge, so I'll let you judge. First of all, give you a little background. On a date past, and I don't have that information because this all went through personnel hearings, and I haven't dug through the blotters to see if it even appeared on a police blotter. But on a date past, our city street supervisor, Rick Stork, apparently involved in an accident, from what we've been able to glean from some of these meetings. Now, in violation of city policy, Mr. Stork was not transported to get a blood test to make sure that there were no drugs involved, no alcohol involved. Now, interestingly enough, we can't blame this totally on City Clerk Jim Allworth. I'll tell you why in a moment. There were closed personnel sessions held, one for Mr. Stork, but an open personnel session held for Mr. Allworth. Now, in the past, they had been closed sessions, but pointed out by one city councilman, and rightly so, that Mr. Allworth is the de facto city administrator, the de facto city manager. Never mind the fact that he carries the title of city clerk, he has more responsibilities and duties than any city clerk I've ever known. Now, whether or not this makes him a city manager, I guess that's going to be decided. But here's the concern. Mr. Allworth was not available that day. He was out of town. I'm going to assume it was for something reasonable. He's had, his parents have been ailing. We understand that stuff happens. You can't be chained to a job. And so he had named the city treasurer, Janelle Trask, to be his deputy, which would have been good, except only the good old boys knew that Janelle Trask was the deputy. It seems that our newly elected city councilmen didn't know that. They had never been told that, and they both deny knowing that. And the defense of the city has, well, we all knew that. This happened in 2009. 2009? These guys weren't elected until 2011. And there's no documentation. Should have been done in an open meeting. But that's the way the Good Old Boy Network runs, under the code of silence. In this whole meeting, the fact of the matter is Ms. Trask got disciplined, Mr. Stork got disciplined by Mr. Allworth. Mr. Allworth then proceeds to attack the two new city councilmen. He publishes a memo, distributes a memo about a confrontation that allegedly occurred between himself, City Councilman Marty Westland, and City Councilman Dale Durbridge. Now we're scanning the memo. We're going to put it up on whitepinenews.com tomorrow. Here's the point. Even if you disagree with what your boss does, you do it in a civil fashion. And Jim Allworth has not been civil in any confrontation he's ever dealt with. In 2008, Mr. Allworth got in my face after a city council meeting for disagreeing with what I published. Mr. Allworth got in my face in front of other councilmen, in front of other citizens, and yelled at me because I was an enemy of the city. You've got the First Amendment right to say what you want, but I've got the First Amendment right to threaten you over it. Never had another confrontation with the man. I think somebody told him, you really shouldn't be that way with the news media. But Mr. Allworth let his temper get the worst of him. And the reason you see, I filed to run for Ely City Council Seat 3 because I thought people needed a choice. People needed a reasonable candidate to run. Somebody who understands what the average person goes through. Not somebody who has lived here all their life, who's on the edge. And I will not say one bad thing about the person Rom DiCiano. Rom DiCiano is a decent person. But Rom is 83 years old, and Rom doesn't always know what's going on, in my opinion. Why else would Rom DiCiano, in an open meeting, vote against following EPA mandates for clean water? Why else would Rom DiCiano, in an open meeting, vote against refunding overcharges to you, the people of the City of Ely? It is not the kind of person we need in office. And the people that are running our City Hall, many of them are nice people, but boy, you remember the comic strip Doonesbury? You remember back when it was actually funny and cutting edge and actually dealt with relevant issues before talk radio took over and took its job? You remember when they had the White House being bricked up brick by brick? That's kind of what City Hall is. You go in and you question about openness and transparency, and my God, you're the enemy of the city because you want to know what the city's doing. You're the enemy because you ask a question. You're the enemy because you ask about procedures. Now maybe, just maybe, Mr. Allworth shouldn't be a city manager, shouldn't be a city supervisor. Maybe Mr. Allworth shouldn't be in charge of all that he is. Maybe we should bring him back to where he's just a city clerk. Maybe we should see openness and transparency in government because we damn sure don't have it now. We have budgets that are huge and thick, and there's no summary. There should be freely published, not even with requests. The city council should have a full list of salaries of what everybody makes instead of it having to be requested. We should have a full listing of delinquent people who have not paid their sewer, water, landfill. That should be public information. And yet, our City Hall is afraid to be sued. If they owe you the money, go after them. It seems to me we have a couple of salaries up there that are wasted. And it seems to me that if we can't make this work, then maybe we need to... You know, my friend Bruce Setterstrom has a saying, nothing happens if nothing happens. And if we allow the same good old boys to go up there and run City Hall and run the City Council, then you, the taxpayer, are going to continually be screwed in everything you do. I was asked to run for Ely City Council. I honestly didn't intend to take the campaign as seriously as I am right now. But after what happened at this last City Council meeting, it becomes obvious that change is needed in our city government. And if we don't make it, then the City of Ely is going to become just like the City of Hamilton. Dead. I may not be born from here, but I damn sure intend to die here. And I damn sure intend to make sure that this city does not die. The City of Ely is going to live and live well. And I need your help, because we need good, solid, honest citizens to go out and stand up to the good old boys who've had everything their way for the longest time. No more Mr. Nice Guy, folks. You and I need to take city government back. We need to tear down the brick wall that surrounds City Hall and make it transparent again. Because if we don't, then say goodbye to Ely. I'm Wyatt Cox. I am running for seat 3 in the Ely City Council. And I really pray that you give us a vote. Voting begins for early voting March 16th. Election day is April 2nd. I ask you to vote. Not just for me, but for people who really want to make a change in Ely City government. If you're happy with your water bills, if you're happy with the way city government screws you, vote for the good old boys.